Hello and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, as most of you are already accustomed, I am gonna do my plug for my other content. If you'd like to skip that, I'd say about skip 20, 30 seconds, maybe, from now. But I do have a Patreon where I tell stories complete with sound effects. It's a good time. It's also a good way to support the channel, as I definitely want to keep this channel ad-free. I also have an Instagram where I take commissions. You know, any kind of voice acting, really, narration, character voices, playing out a scenario that you might have in your head, or even spicy. I do that too. And Instagram is where you can DM me for details about commissions. That's it. So, like I said, this is just gonna be, or did I say that already? I hadn't yet. I guess I'm just used to saying that. It's just going to be a chill video about me cracking relics. Now, one reason why I have it as a, 28-minute video is simply because of the fact that, it's a chill one. And usually, people watch chill content to relax to, or to fall asleep to, or something of that nature. And usually, if it is chill content, people prefer it longer. So I'm kind of just trying that out. Just trying to see. You guys like the chill stuff to be longer, and the informative stuff to be more concise and succinct. Which, I mean, as far as the builds and stuff like that goes, that's definitely how I like to keep them. So that way you get everything you need to know, right when you need to know it, no fluff, no BS, just straight up info and instruction. And then, we can just take a more relaxed thing for this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, trying something out. But as you can see, I am using the Tenant Glaxion with that same build, with the addition of taking out, I think it was Rifle Elementalist, and replacing it with Hunter Munitions. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did for this one. So I could have a bit of dot, help it scale a bit better. But, I can't put it down. It's just too much fun. And especially if you're trying to grind in anything, if you have to do any kind of repetitive whatever, or I guess I should say me, because I'm talking about my preference to this, it's a lot nicer. Also, I don't know what that guy was using, but it looked like he was just blasting, Kamega beams. Just, I don't know what that was. If you guys know that. That weapon or ability. Leave it in the comment section below. I'd like to know. But, yeah, absolutely. That Jade Xmas deserves that. It's been great. It has been fantastic to run this Tenant Glaxion while just doing stuff like this. If I have to grind bosses, or if I'm grinding relics for traces, and, sellable primes for plat, or a set for myself, or anything really that you just want to get done, as far as doing that via weapon and not, Warframe ability spam, this is so comfortable. It really is. And there are times where I feel like, going ham in the paint, and I pull out my Prisma Gorgon, and it's just fun. It's just fun to go ham. Getting kills and reacquiring a target in like a split second, switching all around the room and just headshotting everybody one at a time. It does feel great, and I love doing that. But man, whenever I'm going to spend a long time somewhere, which I had already done quite a bit of relic farming, which is why I decided to try to kill that Xmas with my operator, because I felt like doing something a little different. It's so nice to have, because I can just walk into a room, hold down the right trigger, because I'm on Xbox, and everybody's done. Everybody's cooked, just straight to ash. One thing I wanted to mention, though, is that while I was streaming, doing these relics, and I don't know if this was just a coincidence, but I kept getting higher tier rarity drops. Like that Grindle thing that I just got. I kept getting stuff like that. Uncommons and rares the whole time I was streaming. Then, whenever I cut off the stream, and I was just gonna do a little bit more for the night, because I recorded this last night, to go to bed, right before, just doing a few extra before bed. It was back down to mostly commons. And as you can see in this, I didn't really irradiate anything. I don't even know if I irradiated a single relic. I don't think I did, but it was late last night, so I could be wrong. The proof will be here in the video. But, yeah, so I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, my Warframe account and Twitch are linked. So, maybe that's why? But I'm not signed up to any program. I'm not a part of the Warframe content creator program, because you have to be invited, right? You have to put like hashtag Tino something. I forgot what it was, but that's basically the way to do it. To leave your gamer tag in the description, to put hashtag Tino something or other, or Warframe something, and it pops up in their feed, and I guess somebody goes through there and just cherry picks whoever, right? But I'm not a part of that. I didn't start the program, so I don't know. I mean, unless it's something that's just built in there, so that way people who watch folks stream are enticed by all these good drops. Even though it's not the norm, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but surely it couldn't have been a coincidence, because you'll see through this 28-minute video just how many uncommons and rares I get, and granted, just for a half hour. It's not going to be like 20, because you get a reward every 5 minutes. But still, though, there was a difference. There was. And, I mean, even though I, don't have proof, and if this is the case, I wouldn't actually be able to record proof of me getting mostly commons after the fact. We all play this game, and we know how the RNG can be. So, I don't know. I wasn't complaining, though. I mean, that's 100 ducats. Or what, like, is Grindle and Goss are still, like, somewhat in? Even with Sevagoth coming out? Because I know Protea's parts are on the cheaper side now. But, I don't know. I don't know, maybe there's still 40, 50 plat for like a rare piece, or maybe it's down to 30. I don't know, either way, it's going to be platinum, so I'm not really bothered by it. I was just getting stuff. And I was having a good time. Actually, I also forgot. I forgot that my Death Cube had Verglass Prime on. And typically, what I like to do is I like to run Hellstrom, because even with an unoptimized Verglass build, like I have, it's just, Verglass for a backup, and occasionally he'll pop off the Catalyst effect and it'll chain to enemies and a whole room will die. But it's very occasional, right? Even so, he still sometimes steals my kills. And especially when I'm down, oh my gosh, even with this highly unoptimized build, that's just like the most basic of basic Verglass, viral heat builds, right? And I mainly have the Vigilante stuff on there, for my primary. That's why it's there. And I just want my Death Cube to be capable, which is why I also run the Verglass. It's hard to get myself up because he steals my kills. But also, him killing everything, it doesn't go to the weapons, or it, heavily diminishes the XP that goes to my weapons. And I'm leveling, too. I'm leveling a melee and a secondary. And I can't be having extra slow XP gain, right? So, that's why I usually run the Hellstrom. It's just quality of life while I'm trying to level stuff up. And obviously I'll put the Verglass on in its proper build for Steel Path, but this was very much not Steel Path. However, this time it wasn't exactly a problem because I essentially had a verglass of my own, Lieutenant Glaxion. I decided to make it green because I was like, you know what? I really cannot stand those Jade Light Eximus. I really can't. So how about I give myself my own homemade shoulder-fired Jade Light cannon? How's about that? And look, another rare. Another rare. While I was streaming. Because that's how I record. I don't have a Elgato capture card or any capture card whatsoever. And I play on console. So I was streaming and then screen recording. Which is why it's not, 4K. But yeah, look at that. Anyway, but yeah, I was using the Tentaclaxion. And man, it feels so good to just straight up fry those Jade Light Eximus with a green laser. That's what you get. That's what you get. And this is also really great for dealing with all of these Luithrax, especially when they're grouped up. Oh man, it's so good. I mean, Corrosive Blast and Slash with Hunter munitions. It's nice. I haven't actually tried this on a Steel Path, Conjunction Survival, though. Not Steel Path, and I hate getting stuck on stuff. It was just, pissed me off a little bit. I haven't yet. I do want to, but I think I'm probably going to do it solo, so that way, if it's not really that great, then I'm not burdening my team, right? By not being able to take out an enemy type, and a necessary enemy type as well. So I think I will try it solo, or with some friends, so that way they can carry me if it turns out to suck. Which I don't think it would, because it's the Tentaclaxion, but you never know. That's why we run tests. And that's why we run tests in a controlled environment. So I think I'll probably be doing that. But I was having a very good time. Enjoying myself, tearing these guys up, casually leveling up those weapons. Because Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, ESO, it gets exhausting. And it doesn't take very long for it to. It's just, it's just very boring. Very repetitious. You don't really get anything useful. You have a tiny chance to get Brayton or Leto Vandal part. And it is a tiny chance. Which, by the way, Leto isn't worth it. And the Prime version of the Brayton is far better than the Vandal. Now, I just want them personally to add to the collection, and for bragging rights. But I'm not going to use them, because the Leto is hot dog water, and the Brayton Vandal, while significantly better than its regular and MK1 counterpart, still isn't as good as the Prime. And it's a nightmare to try and get. So, I'll get it when I get it. But I prefer this method of leveling up casually. Now, if you're hardcore trying to level stuff, ESO for weapons, and then, Helena, and then there was another defense mission as well. You guys can look it up for Warframes. But, I mean, there's other ways. You can do, Exterminate with Silence, subsumed onto whatever new Warframe, and go through there, and there's plenty of ways to level up. But as far as casually grinding out your XP, this is what's fun to me. There's lots of enemies, you get loads of rewards, all of its prime pieces you can either give to the kiosk to get whatever you're missing from Baru, or you can sell them for some platinum. Because everybody's always looking for prime everything all the time. So either way, I'm getting platinum, or ducats, or I'm getting the missing pieces that I need for my own sets, on top of, casually, albeit slowly, but still, in a fun way, leveling out whatever weapons I have. Getting all that done at once. And yes, it does make leveling the weapons significantly slower, especially if you're not using the ones you're leveling. But they do still get leveled while also allowing me to enjoy how I'm leveling them and get rewards. Platinum, ducats for Baru to get the stuff that I have left to get from him. It's really not that much. I think I only have a little bit. There's only a few things I'm missing from him. And on top of that, occasionally I'll come across some people with some crazy builds. And, we'll ask and trade notes and stuff, and I gain knowledge. So, knowledge, weapon leveling, platinum, via selling through Prime parts, and stuff for Baru. All in one spot. And I don't have to sweat. I don't have to have a massive nuke build. I don't have to, have a loadout specifically for this. I can just do it at my own pace, for fun, meeting new people, talking about stuff, trading build strategies, and, weapon loadouts and stuff. So for me, it's the best way to level. Because I'm doing so many other things at once. And I don't have to sweat. No sweating at all. And look, an uncommon. Those rares are now an uncommon piece from an unirradiated relic. I don't know, man. Like, it could be coincidental, or it could be simply because I'm streaming and I have the Twitch account linked with my Warframe account, and I have cross-save. Maybe it's just all like, oh, well, maybe he's going to be a streamer, so let's bump it up. It could be. I could be wrong. It could actually just be a crazy, kind of long-lasting coincidence. But I don't know, man. That seems a little too, spiffical. A little too spiffic in the timing. And then compared to the garbage I was getting afterward, after I turned the stream off. I don't know, man. I don't know. But if you guys do know, you can also leave the truth in the comments below. Yeah. Now, even though I do main Volt and Gara, I'm not really about the meta. I mean, yeah, I'm using the Tentaclaxion now, but for the most part, it's usually the Prisma, Gorgon, and Carton, and then the Twin Grox, and what else did I have? The Hate? I mean, I'm pretty sure the Hate is actually pretty meta, but that was like the only meta weapon that I used for the longest time, until I started racing toward MR30, and I started using a lot. I got the Exceltra Prime, and, I got all of this stuff, and I got the Lex, Incarnin, and I have the Burst on Incarnin, which is nasty, and I know that those are meta, but I like using different stuff. I like using things that are unique and more fun. And while the Tentaclaxion is meta, or at least considered that way by a lot, this thing is just absolutely fun. So whether or not what you like is meta doesn't matter. If you're having a good time, that's what matters. But I typically stray away from meta because, as I said, I just like more unique, more interesting weapons. And I love my Twin Grox so much, and they are so far from meta. Oh my gosh. The amount of work. Oh boy. The amount of work that I had to put into those to get them to the point where I got them. Annihilating Void Angels. Like, smacking the straight doo-doo water right out of Acolytes. Just tearing apart almost any level of enemy. Almost. I know that there's a point where it's just not going to be able to do anything anymore, but I typically don't stay that long in a mission to get that high a level. I formatted probably 14, 15 times, because when I first got them, I loved them. but I had no idea what I was doing. So I messed up a lot. I messed up a whole lot. As you do. Learning is a trial and error experience. It always has been and always will be. And so once I actually started understanding the convolutedness of this game and its mechanics and builds, I figured it out. Got him to a point where I wanted. And I did use the dual toxicist a lot when it came out, but I don't know about you guys, but I got annoyed. I got annoyed of having to constantly, keep turning on my incarnate. At first my bestie was like, no, this is dumb. I did all this work in Dufiri and I got this weapon. I grinded that out. I built it out. I got 5, 6, the full 9 forma. I did all of this and the incarnate's not on all the time. This is stupid. I hate this. It was their opinion. Is their opinion. And at first I was like, well, it's fine. I always aim for the head anyway, unless I'm using this weapon now. Which I still aim for the head a lot, but I was under the school of like, well, who cares? These things are so awesome and so powerful anyway, like, the amount of damage and the power that they put out, right, is more than worth it to have to deal with, like, that annoying mechanic. And then I kept using the dual toxicist. And it's probably one of the worst weapons outside of its well, no, the Lado. Lado would probably be the worst weapon outside of its incarnate. But the most pain in the ass to get its incarnate active. Unless you dump a lot of fire rate. And I mean a lot of fire rate into it. Which then you're making your damage suffer. And nobody wants that, right? So I used it a lot over and over again. For all kinds of steel paths. And I got tired of it. I got tired of constantly having to go, bah, 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 bah. That level of fire rate to get a headshot on targets that are always moving. It's fine if I can fire fast, my target acquisition is on point. But how slow it was, and how some of the hitboxes are just downright stupid, and even if you get a headshot it doesn't register. I've gotten shots to the chest, and it's charged my incarnate a little bit. That's Warframe, right? But yeah, I just got sick of it. I got sick of constantly having to do that. And one of the weapons where it's more pain in the ass to do it, to engage the incarnate, man. I like my power on demand. When I need it. I want it to be there when I need it. The second, no later, only sooner. All the time, right? So I started using the twin groks again. And just I didn't have to wait for nothing. Because I have, Arcane Pistolier. I didn't have to worry about, I almost said money. I definitely have to worry about that right now. Ammo, there we go. I didn't have to worry about ammo at all. At all. Unless we were going to try to kill an Archon with it, which... you can actually kill an Archon with the twin groks. Now granted, you do need a bit of setup, right? You need to get a couple of kills, right? You need to have your galvanized shot and chamber active, get a couple of those stacks going. But more importantly than that, you must have your Arcane Pistolier procced. So that way you're not losing, your damage window for the Archon. So that build that I showed and tweaked a little bit to fit the radiation mod in there, I don't want to give you misinformation, because right, that's what I didn't do. Because I'm trying to remember when I tried it out. It was corrosive, heat, and radiation. That's what it was. And I tore apart the Archon. I was genuinely surprised at how much damage it actually did to the Archon. I was fully impressed. I've never been so erect. Ah, man, those twin Groks are something else. I mean, the Riven puts in a lot of work, but man, those things are completely slept on. And that's okay, because that means the Riven disposition gets to remain high, so, keep snoozing on them, please. But yeah, corrosive heat and radiation, and granted, I didn't one-shot the Archon, and it was, I think, it was comparable to, like, a good, dual Toxicist build against the Archons, which is wild, right? Comparable to the dual Toxicists, and both have Rivens. I was so fucking proud of myself. I was still am, incredibly proud of myself for that. Oh man, I love that. But that's why I love using off-meta weapons, because you never know what you're going to get. You never know how far you can push them. With a meta weapon, it's great and that's it. Some of them you can even take to Steel Path with like barely 4 mods on, and they're already doing work. And that's great. And meta weapons have a purpose. That's why I'm using the Tinted Glaxion. It's fun, it's chill, it's easy, I don't have to think about it, I can do a lot of things all at once and be happy. Right? But sometimes I want to lock in. Sometimes I want to focus up and I want to feel like John Wick. Sometimes I want to feel like Neo in the Matrix and just go from one target to another in like a split second across 20 enemies and just ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And then everybody's dead. Because that's fun. Ooh, the Tenet Exec. I want to try that next, because that AoE slam looks nasty. I really want to try that next. Oh, that looks so much fun. Hopefully I can get it soon. If you have a Tenet Exec, you have that melee weapon, let me know what would be the best, progenitor, right? Like the best element to have on it. Magnetic, heat, whatever. Let me know. Because I'm kind of thinking magnetic, because I have no idea what its stats are, like if it has good or bad status. But do let me know, like what works best on it. Because I'm going to have hybrid slam and light attack build. But I'm going to try to at least. So if you have any idea, or you have one and you've put as much work into it as I have the Groks, and you just know that weapon inside and out, please, let me know. Also, if you've made it this far, recommend to me what other off-meta weapons I could try that are just straight up fun. I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that indeed. I have the dual commas prime, and I kind of want to see if I can make those just absolutely rip people apart. Right? I want to see if I can rip and tear with the dual commas prime. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good day, and may RNG be in your favor.